This is the 82 and 0 podcast. Starting a new series, we're going to take a look at NBA what ifs. Now, for this episode, we're looking at the Trailblazers of the late 2000s, early 2010s. Could they have won a championship if they were healthy and stayed together? Now, one thing you got to look at is Greg Oden, who's only 34 today. Some people don't understand that because he's been out of the league for so long. He's only 34, and Brandon Roy is only 37. So let's go back. The Portland Trail Blazers were a very good team in the 90s. They had 2 finals runs. Very good team into the 2000s. They started a rebuild around the late 2000s. They had the number 1 pick in 2007. They selected Greg Oden. He was supposed to be their franchise player. Everybody now, in hindsight, looks back and says, why didn't they pick Kevin Durant? But it's all the injuries. So his 07-08, which would have been his rookie season, he missed the entire year. The 2008-2009 season, he only played 61 games. 2009-2010, he played 21 games. And then he would miss the next 3 seasons, 2010 to 11 through 2012 through 2013. He would make a comeback on the Miami Heat in 2014, where he would only play 23 games. Now, Brandon Roy, on the other hand, his first season was in the 06-07 season. He played 57 games. He wasn't as hurt as Greg Oden, but he would play 74 in 07-08, 78 in 08-09, 65 in 09-10. 10-11, he would only play 47 games before retiring in 11-12. He would eventually come back in 12-13 and play with Minnesota for 5 games. Now, let's look at it like this. The trio of Greg Oden, Brandon Roy, and LaMarcus Aldridge were 50-12 when they played together, if that's any indicator. But there's something else that doesn't get talked about enough, and this is a big what if. I know speculating isn't necessarily how to play in real life. We don't know what the butterfly effect would be if we change history. But there's something interesting that I haven't really heard people make arguments about. They could have potentially had Damian Lillard too, because the New Jersey Nets traded a 2012 first-round draft pick with Mehmet Okur and Sean Williams to the Portland Trail Blazers for Gerald Wallace. So this pick that they got, the Portland Trail Blazers, would be the 6th pick of the 2012 NBA draft. Because, look at it like this. If that trio played together and were good into the 2000s, they're not going to get a 6th pick because they're too good for it. But Damian Lillard came in based on a trade. So I do believe, had they stayed together and they were healthy, they could have had Damian Lillard at the point guard. They could have had Brandon Roy at the shooting guard. They could have had LaMarcus Aldridge at the power forward and Greg Oden at center, and put anybody you want at small forward. But let's look at the potential of Brandon Roy. He was a top 5 shooting guard in the league around 2009. He put up 22 points per game. He was an all-star. 48% from the field, 37% from 3, and 82% from the line. Here's my theory. You look at those earlier Damian Lillard teams. So, like, you look at 2013-14, for example, where they went 54-28. This was just off of Nicholas Batum, Damian Lillard, Wesley Matthews, and Marcus Aldridge. Let's say you had a prime Brandon Roy to the mix. Let's say you add Greg Oden had he stayed healthy. Now, we don't really know Greg Oden's potential. We didn't see a lot of glimpses of it like we did Brandon Roy, but I do believe he would have been an all-star eventually. He was a great shot blocker, a great post defender. And you look at that 2013-14 season where they lost to the San Antonio Spurs, a big reason why they lost was their rebounding. The Spurs were out rebounding them in some of the crucial games there. So let's say you add Greg Oden to the mix. And you add Brandon Roy. I think that would have been their year. You can't, also, you can't account for everything in real life to fall into plan. We don't know what would have happened. But I do think LaMarcus Aldridge would have stayed in Portland. I don't think he would have left San Antonio. I don't think he would have left for San Antonio in the 15-16 season. I think they would have at least got one, maybe two championships together. I don't see them getting CJ McCollum because I just don't see them getting CJ McCollum, but I do see them winning 2014, possibly 2015 maybe. And it's crazy to think about. Brandon Roy and Greg Oden, had they stayed healthy, they could still be in the NBA today. They could still be on that Blazers team with Damian Lillard. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments below.